Dr. Emily Anderson's fingers flew across the holographic display, desperately trying to reestablish contact with Armstrong Base. The lunar colony's vital signs had flatlined 30 seconds ago. No atmosphere readings, no power signatures, no heartbeats. 2,000 miles above Earth, the Orbital Defense Station's warning system screamed as unknown vessels emerged from fold space. "Jake," she whispered, thinking of her brother working in the lunar geology lab. The same brother who had convinced her to join the space program instead of taking that cushy private sector job. The same brother who was now Dr. Anderson. Colonel Matthews' voice cut through her grief. "I need those sensor readings now." What exactly hit the base? Emily forced herself to focus on the data streaming across her screen. The attack hadn't just destroyed the base. It had weaponized the moon's regolith, turning the lunar dust into superheated plasma. Energy signatures are off the charts, sir. Whatever they used, it's beyond anything in our database. The unknown ships moved into formation above the moon's scarred surface. Their hulls gleamed with an iridescent sheen that reminded Emily of oil on water, beautiful and toxic. As she watched, a new signal cut through all communications channels. "People of Earth." The voice was oddly melodic, almost pleasant. "I am High Commander Zexnull of the Dominion. Your lunar outpost's destruction serves as demonstration of our power. We have conquered 37 species across 12 galaxies. All chose submission over extinction. You have 24 Earth hours to surrender your world and accept your place as a protectorate of the Dominion. Resistance is." Emily's fingers paused over her keyboard. The alien's signal carried something strange, a pattern buried beneath the audio. She isolated a data packet, her eyes widening as complex codes revealed themselves. "Colonel," she called out, "their transmission. It's not just audio. They're broadcasting their entire communications protocol with every message. Some kind of standardized system." Matthews frowned. "Why would they send us their comm specs?" "Because they don't think we're smart enough to understand them." Emily's grief crystallized into something harder. They've conquered so many worlds, they don't even bother hiding their technical data anymore. It's like a lion not bothering to hide its claws from a mouse. She established a quantum-encrypted channel to the Pentagon, specifically to Major James Walker's Cyber Warfare Division. As she transmitted the alien protocols, her mind raced through the implications. The Zextheri's signal contained more than communication codes. It held fragments of their entire network architecture. "Sir," she turned to Matthews, "recommend radio silence across all traditional channels." No response to their ultimatum. The colonel studied her face. "You found something useful in their signal." "Better." For the first time since watching Armstrong Base die, Emily felt a glimmer of hope. "I found their arrogance. Every conquest has made them sloppier, more convinced of their superiority. They're broadcasting their entire command and control architecture because they assume we're too primitive to recognize it, let alone exploit it." Matthews nodded slowly. "How long do you need?" "Give me 6 hours with Major Walker's team. While these," she glanced at the alien ships with cold calculation, "these overconfident visitors wait for our surrender, we'll be learning everything about how their systems tick." "You have 3 hours," Matthews replied. "They killed your brother, Doctor. Make it count." Emily turned back to her station, fingers dancing across the holographic keys with renewed purpose. The Zextheri expected humanity to respond like every other species they'd encountered, with fear, panic, and desperate pleas for mercy. They thought the destruction of Armstrong Base would break humanity's spirit. Instead, they had given Emily Anderson the key to their destruction, written in their own signal's arrogant code. As she worked, she thought of Jake, of his last message about discovering something strange in the lunar minerals. He had died trying to understand the unknown. Now his sister would ensure his killers regretted ever making themselves known to humanity. The Zextheri ships hung in space like patient predators, waiting for Earth's surrender. They didn't realize they had just picked a fight with the one species in the galaxy that had turned survival into an art form. Humanity wouldn't just survive this. They would make the Dominion regret the day they assumed humans were prey rather than predators in waiting. Colonel Rebecca Hayes watched the latest episode of America's Next Chef with a grim smile. On screen, contestants argued over overcooked salmon while her underground command center beneath Denver hummed with activity. The sex theory interceptors above would detect nothing but normal television broadcasts, social media chatter, and civilian communications. "Status report," she commanded, turning to her chief of operations. Lieutenant Rodriguez gestured to a holographic display showing global entertainment metrics. Netflix viewing is up 300%. Social media posting has increased by 250%, and reality TV engagement is at record levels. "Sir, the aliens are completely buying it." Their latest intelligence assessment describes humanity as paralyzed with denial. Rebecca allowed herself a small smile. The sex theory weren't wrong about the denial. They just didn't understand its purpose. Every viral video, every trending hashtag, every streaming spike carried encrypted military coordinates and deployment orders. "Dr. Anderson's quantum encryption is holding?" she asked, watching another screen where celebrities debated the latest fashion trends. Within the broadcast's digital noise, she could barely make out the coded orders for Pacific Fleet deployments. "Perfect coverage, sir. The aliens are so busy analyzing our primitive social media reactions, they haven't noticed we've stopped using traditional military channels entirely." A proximity alert flashed. Rebecca tensed as a sex theory scout ship passed over Denver. On her screens, cellular networks lit up with sudden spikes in cat video sharing and heated debates about celebrity relationships. The scout ship's sensors would detect exactly what they expected: a frightened population distracting itself with mindless entertainment. They never thought to ask why Earth's military channels had gone completely silent. "Report from Quantum Lab 6, Rodriguez announced. "Dr. Anderson's team has successfully mapped 60% of the sex theory network architecture. Major Walker's Cyber Warfare Division begins deployment in 3 hours." Rebecca nodded, watching the scout ship's trajectory on her monitors. "And the underground facilities. All 23 quantum research bases are at full capacity. The old missile silos were perfect cover. The alien scans read them as abandoned Cold War relics." Rodriguez paused. "Sir, Beijing reports their underground facility is operational." The Chinese government's official response to the aliens was to announce a new season of their most popular dating show. Perfect. Rebecca reached for her secure tablet, reviewing the latest global readiness reports. Every major military power on Earth was playing its part. The Russians had announced a massive online chess tournament. The European Union was hosting an international baking championship. India had started streaming cricket matches 24/7. And beneath it all, humanity's greatest minds worked in secret, turning Dr. Anderson's discovery into a weapon. A new alert flashed across her screen. The sex theory high command had issued another update. The humans appear to be responding to crisis through entertainment consumption, consistent with primitive species lacking cognitive capacity for strategic resistance. Recommend proceeding with planetary occupation as scheduled. Rebecca switched to a direct quantum link with Dr. Anderson's orbital station. "How much longer?" 2 more hours. Emily's voice came through, crystal clear despite being undetectable to alien sensors. Their entire command network uses the same base protocols. "Once we're in, we'll own every system they have. Just keep them thinking we're all watching reality shows." "Oh, we'll do better than that." Rebecca pulled up the global broadcast schedule. Universal Studios just announced a week-long marathon of human disaster movies. Let's show our friends up there every apocalyptic scenario we've ever imagined and survived. She turned back to the main screen, where America's Next Chef contestants were now crying over fallen sofas. Buried in their tears was the activation code for humanity's entire submarine fleet, silently moving into position beneath the world's oceans. The sex theory thought they were watching a species retreat into mindless entertainment. Instead, they were witnessing humanity's greatest deception. Every tweet, every livestream, every viral video carried the seeds of their destruction. "Send word to all commands," Rebecca ordered. Operation Digital Veil enters final phase. When Dr. Anderson gives the signal, "We'll show these aliens why you should never mistake humanity's capacity for distraction as a sign of weakness." Above, the Zextheri ships continued their patient orbit, their sensors recording countless hours of human entertainment. They never realized they were watching the galaxy's greatest military masquerade, orchestrated by a species that had perfected the art of hiding in plain sight. Major James Walker pressed his back against the Zextheri scout ship's iridescent hull, magnetic boots keeping him anchored in the zero gravity. Earth's crescent hung below, a brilliant blue reminder of what they were fighting for. 5 members of his strike team flanked him, their stealth suits absorbing radar and light equally. "Martinez," he whispered into his quantum comm, "talk to me." Lieutenant Jessica Martinez's voice came through perfectly clear, despite being stationed 300 miles below in the Colorado bunker. "Their security protocols are ancient, Major. Like Windows 95 ancient. They haven't updated them in centuries because no one's ever hacked them before." Walker smiled beneath his helmet. The Zextheri's overconfidence was about to cost them dearly. Time to breach. 30 seconds. Their automated defense system is looping the last hour of sensor data. Now, the ship's hull seemed to ripple under Walker's gloved hand. These vessels used adaptive camouflage, but Martinez had cracked that too. To any watching Zextheri ships, this scout vessel appeared completely normal. 15 seconds. Martinez continued. "By the way, you can thank my misspent youth for this. All those hours breaking into MNO games finally paid off." Walker's team positioned themselves around the airlock. Lieutenant Chen readied the quantum torch, another gift from Dr. Anderson's research. The device would cut through the hull by shifting the metal's atomic bonds into another dimension, leaving no trace. "Breach," Martinez commanded. The quantum torch flared silently. A perfect circle appeared in the hull, the edges glowing with possibilities from other dimensions. Walker led his team through, their suits automatically adjusting to the ship's artificial gravity. 2 life signs, Martinez reported. "Crew quarters. They're watching what they think is a live feed of their external cameras." Walker signaled his team forward. The ship's interior was surprisingly sparse. No decorations, no personal touches. These weren't explorers. They were bureaucrats with weapons. They found the first crew member in the galley, a tall, spindly creature with iridescent scales. Before it could react, Chen fired a tranquilizer specially designed for Zextheri biology. The alien collapsed without a sound. "One down," Walker reported. "Martinez, start your download." "Already on it." "Sir, you're not going to believe this. Their entire battle network runs on standardized protocols. Every ship, every weapon, every shield. It's all connected through a system they haven't changed in millennia." The second crew member went down as easily as the first. Walker's team secured the bridge while Martinez worked her magic through their quantum uplink. "Holy shit," she breathed. "Major, their overconfidence. It's beyond anything we imagined. They don't even encrypt their weapon systems. They never thought they'd need to." Walker watched data stream across the bridge's holographic displays. "What are we looking at?" "Their entire civilization runs on a unified network. Ships, stations, colonies. Everything's connected. And get this, they use the same command codes across their entire empire. It's like they handed us a universal key because they thought we were too stupid to use the door." The mission had cost Walker 3 good soldiers getting here. Harris, Patel, and Rodriguez had died making sure they reached this ship undetected. But their sacrifice was about to pay off beyond their wildest dreams. How long to weaponize this? Martinez's laugh held a predatory edge. "Already done. I've written a virus that'll make their systems think our ships are their ships. Their weapons won't target us because they'll read us as friendly units. We can walk right through their defenses. Walker studied the unconscious aliens. They looked almost delicate, like creatures that had forgotten the need for physical strength. How did they conquer so many worlds? They didn't, Martins replied. Their tech did it for them. And now their tech belongs to us. Uploading the virus to Dr. Anderson's quantum network now. When we launch our counterattack, every human ship will be a ghost in their system. Time to leave our little gift and go home, Walker ordered. His team planted quantum charges throughout the ship. Untraceable explosives that would make this look like an engine malfunction. As they retreated through their dimensional breach, Walker took one last look at the unconscious X-30. These aliens had ruled the galaxy through technological superiority for so long, they'd forgotten the most important rule of warfare. Never underestimate an enemy's ability to innovate. Humanity was about to remind them, and the lesson would be brutal. Admiral Thomas Richardson stood on the bridge of the U.S. Hyperion, hidden among a cloud of supposed space debris near Mars. To the X-30 sensors, his fleet was nothing but scattered wreckage. Remnants of humanity's older space missions. Their arrogance had led them to dismiss the field of junk as unworthy of detailed scans. All ships report ready, sir, Commander Lisa Foster announced from her tactical station. Lieutenant Martinez's virus is fully integrated into all systems. Dr. Anderson confirms quantum network stability at 100%. Richardson studied the tactical display. 200 human vessels lay concealed within the debris field, their advanced stealth systems enhanced by Martinez's code to appear as nothing more than metal fragments to X-30 scanners. Status of the enemy fleet. Holding position above Earth. Their guard is down, sir. Latest intercepts show they're watching a marathon of cat videos. Foster's lips twitched. Colonel Hayes' deception is still holding. Richardson nodded, remembering the losses at Armstrong Base. The X-30 had killed those colonists to make a point. Now, humanity would respond in kind. Send the quantum pulse, he ordered. Foster's fingers danced across her console. Throughout the debris field, human ships pulsed with invisible energy. The virus hiding in the X-30 network activated, spreading through their battle fleet like digital wildfire. Pulse sent. Virus deployment confirmed. Foster's eyes widened. Sir, it's working even better than Martins predicted. Their systems aren't just accepting our ships as friendly, they're registering us as priority command vessels. Richardson allowed himself a grim smile. Signal all ships. Execute Operation Trojan Horse. The debris field came alive. Hidden engines ignited as humanity's fleet revealed itself, but to X-30 sensors, nothing had changed. Their systems still showed only scattered debris, now simply moving in strange patterns they couldn't quite process. Enemy fleet showing no reaction. Foster reported. Their weapons remain dormant. Their shields are. She laughed. Their shields are actually lowering to allow us priority docking access. Richardson opened a channel to all human ships. This is Admiral Richardson. Remember Armstrong Base. Remember what they took from us. Fire at will. The first salvo caught the X-30 completely by surprise. Railgun rounds and plasma torpedoes slipped through their lowered shields, tearing into hulls that had never been truly tested in combat. The aliens had relied on their technological superiority for so long, they'd forgotten the fundamental rules of warfare. Never trust what your sensors tell you without verification. Multiple direct hits, Foster called out. Enemy vessels attempting to raise shields, but their systems are locked in friendly recognition protocols. They can't figure out where the attacks are coming from. The X-30 fleet broke formation, trying to retreat from an enemy they couldn't properly detect. Their own command protocols worked against them. Every attempt to target the human ships was automatically overridden by systems that insisted they were firing on friendly vessels. Sir, Foster's voice held a note of dark satisfaction. Colonel Hayes reports Operation Digital Veil is entering final phase. Earth's surface defense grid is coming online, disguised by satellite TV broadcasts. Richardson watched as the mighty X-30 Armada fell into chaos. Ships collided as they tried to evade phantom attacks. Their rigid command structure, built on absolute technological superiority, crumbled in the face of an enemy that had turned their own systems against them. "Open a channel to their flagship," Richardson commanded. "Let's show them who they're really fighting." The Admiral's voice boomed across all frequencies, cutting through the Zextheri's panicked communications. "This is Admiral Thomas Richardson of Earth's Combined Defense Fleet. You killed my people. You thought we were primitive, helpless prey. Now learn why humans don't fight fair. We don't seek honorable combat. We don't follow your rules of engagement. We win, whatever it takes." The battle transformed into a slaughter. Human ships, still registered as friendly command vessels, systematically tore apart the Zextheri fleet. The aliens' desperate attempts to understand what was happening only made their situation worse. Every override attempt, every manual targeting solution was countered by their own protocols. "Sir," Foster reported with quiet pride, "enemy fleet is at 60% casualties and rising. They're transmitting surrender signals." Richardson's expression hardened. No response. They didn't offer Armstrong Base a chance to surrender. "Signal all ships. Continue the attack. Let's show the galaxy what happens when you mistake humanity's patience for weakness." Commander Michael Hayes stood in the Psychological Operations Center beneath the Rocky Mountains, watching wall-to-wall screens displaying humanity's most brutal moments. The Zextheri were about to learn why Earth's history made humans uniquely dangerous. Package 1 ready for transmission. Lieutenant Sarah Cooper reported, her fingers hovering over the broadcast controls. "Starting with World War I footage." "Send it," Michael ordered, thinking of his sister Rebecca coordinating the broader deception. "Let's show them what they've awakened." The first transmission began. Grainy footage of soldiers charging through bullet-streaked beaches at Normandy. The images were carefully chosen, not just for their brutality, but for what they revealed about human nature. These weren't warriors bred for battle. They were ordinary people choosing to face death rather than accept defeat. "Zextheri communication intercepts coming in," Cooper announced. "Their psychologists are confused. They're questioning why humans would preserve records of such violence." Michael smiled grimly. "Show them Stalingrad next. Let them see how humans fight in urban ruins." The footage shifted. Soldiers fighting house to house, snipers dueling across frozen rubble, civilians refusing to abandon their city even as it burned. The Zextheri analysts watched humans demonstrate their capacity to endure conditions their own species would consider unsurvivable. "Sir," Cooper's voice held a note of satisfaction, "we're detecting increased anxiety patterns in Zextheri communications. Their military psychologists are recommending immediate withdrawal. They're calling us psychologically unstable, yet devastatingly adaptable." "Good." Michael moved to the next phase. "Show them Vietnam. Let them see what happens when a technologically superior force faces an enemy that refuses to fight conventionally." The screens filled with jungle warfare, booby traps, guerrilla attacks, soldiers emerging from hidden tunnels. The Zextheri weren't just watching combat, they were seeing their own future. Every ambush, every trap showed them how humans would fight their occupation. Multiple Zextheri ships reporting crew desertions, Cooper reported. Their soldiers are requesting transfers away from Earth deployment. "Sir, they're scared." Perfect timing for Package 2. Michael nodded to the technical team. "Show them how we rebuild." The images shifted again. Cities rising from atomic ashes in Japan, Berlin transformed from rubble to metropolis, New York emerging stronger after countless disasters. The message was clear. Humanity didn't just survive devastation, they emerged stronger. "Incoming transmission from their fleet psychologist," Cooper announced. "You'll want to hear this, sir." A translated voice filled the command center. "These humans, they don't fight like a rational species. They document their own atrocities, study them, learn from them. They treat peace as a temporary condition between wars. Recommendation: immediate withdrawal. This species cannot be controlled through conventional means. Michael allowed himself a cold smile. Send the final package. Show them what they've missed while watching our cat videos. The transmission shifted to live feeds. Human ships emerging from debris fields, hidden military bases activating beneath civilian structures, weapons platforms disguised as communications satellites. Everything Colonel Hayes had hidden under the digital veil was revealed at once. Massive spike in Zextheri panic responses, Cooper reported with satisfaction. Their entire command structure is destabilizing. They're finally realizing that while they watched us play on social media, we were preparing for total war. Send my message to their command, Michael ordered. His voice carried across all frequencies. You thought our entertainment showed weakness. Our social media obsession proved our primitiveness. You never asked why a species with our history of violence would spend so much time watching cat videos. You never wondered if we were hiding something behind those trivial distractions. That was your final mistake. The screens showed new footage. Zextheri ships being torn apart by Admiral Richardson's fleet, their own systems turned against them by Martinez's virus, their military doctrine crumbling against human adaptability. Sir, Cooper's voice was quiet but proud. Zextheri Psychological Warfare Division is surrendering. Their final report calls humanity the species that weaponized its own trauma. Michael thought of Armstrong Base, of all the lives lost to alien arrogance. They came expecting to find prey. Instead, they found the descendants of every warrior culture Earth ever produced. Send word to my sister. Operation History Protocol is complete. The enemy's spirit is broken. On the screens, the mighty Zextheri fleet continued to disintegrate, destroyed not just by human weapons, but by the terrifying realization of what they had challenged, a species that had turned millennia of warfare into an art form. Captain Sarah Williams watched her tactical display as the U.S. Phantom glided through the debris field surrounding the Zextheri supply station. Her ship's hull, coated with metamaterials reverse-engineered from the aliens' own technology, bent light and sensor readings around them like water flowing around a stone. 3 minutes to target, Lieutenant Marcus Rodriguez whispered, though the enemy couldn't have heard him even if he'd shouted. Other ghost ships in position. Sarah nodded, studying the massive supply station. The Zextheri had built it to fuel their invasion fleet. Now it would demonstrate humanity's mastery of asymmetric warfare. Remember, she transmitted to her fleet using quantum channels. We strike like water. Flow in, cause havoc. Flow out. No prolonged engagements. She'd drawn these tactics from Earth's ancient ninja clans and modern special forces, adapting them for space combat. The station's defenses were formidable. Automated turrets, shield generators, sensor arrays, but they all faced outward, expecting traditional attacks. The Ghost Fleet would strike from within their own security perimeter. Receiving confirmation from Dr. Anderson, Rodriguez reported, Martinez's virus has their internal sensors looped. As far as they know, their cargo bays are empty. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Execute Phase 1. Ghost Fleet, deploy shadows. 5 ships, each virtually invisible to Zextheri technology, released clouds of microscopic robots. Another gift from humanity's quantum research. The nanobots flowed through the station's external vents, seeking critical systems. Shadows deployed. Beginning Phase 2. Sarah watched as her fleet split into 3 groups, each targeting different critical systems. Her own ship led the primary assault team. On her tactical display, she could see the confusion already spreading through the station as systems began failing in seemingly random patterns. Their engineers are scrambling, Rodriguez reported with quiet satisfaction. They think it's equipment failure from material fatigue. They still haven't figured out why their maintenance robots aren't responding. Because those robots now answered to human controllers, their programming rewritten by the nanobots. The Zextheri's own automated systems were systematically dismantling their defenses. Ghost Fleet. Execute Phase 3. The station's massive hangar doors opened, responding to forged authorization codes. Sarah's ship slipped inside, followed by 2 others. To any watching Zek's theory, the hangar would appear empty, their sensors still showing nothing but routine activity. Multiple targets acquired, Rodriguez announced. Fusion reactors, ammunition stores, fuel cells, all marked and ready. Sarah checked her tactical display one final time. Across the station, hundreds of maintenance robots were quietly positioning themselves near critical systems. The Zek's theory crew, trained to trust their technology implicitly, never questioned why so many units were conducting simultaneous routine maintenance. Send the pulse. Quantum encrypted signals activated the reprogrammed robots simultaneously. Throughout the station, vital systems began failing in a cascading pattern designed to trigger a chain reaction. The Zek's theory crew, finally realizing something was wrong, rushed to respond. Enemy alert status rising, Rodriguez reported. They're initiating emergency protocols. Too late, Sarah replied. Ghost Fleet, Phase 4. Leave our calling card. As her ship slipped out of the hangar, Sarah transmitted directly to the station's command center. This is Captain Sarah Williams of the Ghost Fleet. You thought space warfare required massive ships and direct confrontation. Instead, we turned your own maintenance systems against you. Look out your windows. See how many of our ships you can count. The station's external cameras swiveled frantically, searching for targets. They found nothing but empty space and drifting debris, even as more critical systems failed around them. Quantum detonation in 3 minutes, Rodriguez announced. All ghost ships clear of the blast radius. Sarah watched as the mighty station began breaking apart from within, its own power systems overloading in precisely calculated sequences. The Zek's theory crew evacuated in panic, their escape pods scattering in all directions. Send word to command, she ordered. The Shadow Protocol was successful. Tell them the Ghost Fleet is ready to begin strikes on their core worlds. As her ships vanished into the void, Sarah thought about how the Zek's theory would react to this defeat. Their mighty station, destroyed not by a superior force, but by an enemy they couldn't even detect. Their own robots and systems turned against them by humans who had learned to fight like ghosts in the machine. Lieutenant, she said, pulling up data on their next target, send the battle footage to Commander Hayes. Let's add this to his psychological warfare package. Show them how humans can strike from anywhere, at any time, without ever being seen. The Ghost Fleet disappeared into the darkness between stars, leaking behind a spreading field of debris that had once been a crucial Zek's theory supply station. They had just proven that in space, as on Earth, victory didn't always go to the largest army. Sometimes it went to the cleverer hunter. Dr. Emily Anderson stood in the heart of her quantum communications hub aboard the orbital defense station, surrounded by crystalline structures that pulsed with entangled particles. Each crystal contained millions of quantum pairs, their states linked across vast distances of space. Final calibration complete, she announced, her voice carrying through quantum channels to every human ship in the solar system. The network is ready. Through her main viewport, Jupiter's massive form dominated the view. The Zek's theory had gathered their remaining forces there, 300 ships, their best commanders, their most advanced technology. They thought distance would give them time to react to human attacks. They were about to learn how wrong they were. All vessels reporting quantum sync, her assistant, Dr. James Patterson, confirmed. Every human ship is now connected through entangled pairs. Admiral Richardson's fleet is ready to move on your mark. Emily touched a crystal housing, feeling its subtle vibration. Inside, particles danced in perfect synchronization with their twins aboard other ships. Begin Operation Quantum Strike. Across the solar system, human vessels lit up with new energy signatures. The quantum web she created didn't just allow instant communication. It let their ships move as a single organism, each captain seeing through every other ship's sensors simultaneously. Zek's theory fleet is detecting our power spike, Patterson reported. They're moving to combat positions. Emily smiled grimly. Too slow. Through the quantum network, she watched Admiral Richardson's fleet execute maneuvers that should have been impossible. Ships moved in perfect coordination, covering each other's blind spots, anticipating enemy movements before they happened. The quantum entanglement meant there was no delay between observation and reaction. Every human ship knew exactly what every other ship was seeing and doing. Their commanders are panicking, Patterson noted, monitoring Zexthera communications. They can't understand how our ships are moving so precisely. Emily thought of her brother Jake, who died at Armstrong Base. He would have loved seeing this. Humanity turning quantum mechanics into a weapon. Send the message, she ordered. Her voice reached the Zextheri command ship instantly. This is Dr. Emily Anderson. You thought humans were primitive because we didn't use your technology. The truth is, we'd already moved beyond it. Your faster-than-light communications have a 3-second delay. Ours has none. Your ships coordinate through computer networks. Ours are linked through the fabric of reality itself. The Battle of Jupiter unfolded like a deadly dance. Human ships moved with impossible precision, each vessel knowing exactly where every other would be. The Zextheri's traditional formation-based tactics crumbled against an enemy that could respond to their movements before they even completed them. Their flagship is attempting to coordinate a counterattack, Patterson reported. They're trying to adapt to our movement patterns. They can't, Emily replied. Show me the quantum flow. Holographic displays showed streams of entangled particles connecting every human ship. Data flowed instantly between vessels, creating a neural network of war machines that thought and moved as one. The technology that had started with her discovery in the Zextheri's first transmission had evolved into something beyond even their understanding. Quantum torpedoes armed, Patterson announced. These weapons, guided by entangled particles, could alter their trajectory instantaneously, making them essentially impossible to evade. Launch. The space around Jupiter lit up with quantum detonations. The Zextheri's advanced shields, designed to stop conventional weapons, meant nothing against attacks that manifested simultaneously on both sides of their barrier through quantum tunneling. Enemy fleet at 60% losses, Patterson reported. Their formation is breaking. Emily watched through 100 different sensor feeds as humanity's quantum-linked fleet systematically dismantled the most powerful battle group the Zextheri had ever assembled. Send word to Captain Williams. The Ghost Fleet can begin their infiltration of their core worlds. The battle was more than a victory. It was a demonstration. Humanity hadn't just caught up to Zextheri technology. They'd leapfrogged past it. While the aliens had focused on conventional advancement, humans had unlocked the fundamental secrets of reality itself. Dr. Anderson, Patterson's voice was quiet with awe. The Zextheri Supreme Commander is requesting direct communication. They're asking how long we've had this technology. Emily thought of all the lives lost to their invasion, of her brother's sacrifice, of humanity's desperate race to survive. Tell them the truth. We built it all in the week after they killed our people at Armstrong Base. Let them understand exactly what they provoked when they thought humans were primitive. On her screens, the remains of the mighty Zextheri fleet drifted in Jupiter's orbit, broken by weapons they couldn't comprehend, defeated by a species they had grievously underestimated. The Zextheri Imperial Palace's crystalline walls pulsed with nervous energy as Admiral Thomas Richardson, Dr. Emily Anderson, and Captain Sarah Williams strode through its grand halls. Their footsteps echoed on floors that had never before felt human presence. Behind them, through towering windows, the Ghost Fleet hung in formation above the Zextheri homeworld, visible now, a deliberate show of force. Their entire ruling council awaits, Lieutenant Rodriguez reported through their quantum comm. Every major species in the Dominion is attending. Our broadcast network is ready. Emily touched the quantum transmitter at her belt. Soon, every subjugated world in the Zextheri Empire would witness this moment. She thought of Jake, of Armstrong Base, of how this all began with one alien signal carrying their own destruction within its code. The grand doors opened to reveal the Imperial Chamber. Hundreds of alien representatives stood in tiered rows, their iridescent scales reflecting light in waves of nervous color. At the center, the Zextheri High Command sat on elevated thrones that no longer held any real power. High Commander Zex Null rose, his once proud posture now bent with defeat. The human delegation is recognized. You may present your terms. Admiral Richardson stepped forward, his voice carrying not just through the chamber but across quantum channels to every world in the Dominion. 1 week ago, you attacked our lunar colony. You killed 300 of our people to demonstrate your power. You expected surrender. Instead, we broke your empire. He gestured to Dr. Anderson, who activated a holographic display. Images filled the chamber. The Battle of Jupiter, the Ghost Fleet strikes, the psychological warfare campaign that had shattered Zextheri morale. In 7 days, Richardson continued, we reversed engineered your technology, improved upon it, and turned it against you. We didn't just catch up to your civilization's advancement. We surpassed it. Captain Williams stepped forward next. Your error wasn't underestimating our technology. Your error was assuming that technological superiority equals victory. Humanity has spent its entire history learning to defeat superior forces through adaptation and unconventional warfare. Emily took her place beside them. You thought our entertainment broadcasts showed weakness. Our social media obsession proved our primitiveness. Instead, we used your assumptions to hide our preparations in plain sight. Now, here are our terms. The holographic display shifted to show the new galactic order. First, immediate liberation of all subjugated species. Their worlds are their own again. Murmurs ran through the assembled aliens as Emily continued. Second, complete demilitarization of the Zextheri Dominion. Your warships will be dismantled. Your weapons deactivated. Your military technology surrendered to a coalition of former subject species. Third, Williams added, mandatory installation of quantum monitoring networks on all Zextheri worlds. You will never again have the capability to threaten another species. Richardson delivered the final terms. Fourth, the Zextheri will fund and support the reconstruction of every world they've damaged, starting with Armstrong Base. You broke our home. Now you'll help us rebuild it better than before. High Commander Zexnell's scales shifted to a deep blue of resignation. And if we refuse? Emily activated another hologram, showing the Ghost Fleet's quantum weapons locked on every major Zextheri city. Then we demonstrate why countless invaders have tried to conquer Earth, and none have succeeded. The choice is yours. Sign the surrender and help build a better galaxy, or test humanity's capacity for total war. The chamber erupted in discussion, but Emily noticed something interesting. The representatives from subjugated worlds weren't arguing against the terms. They were pressing the Zextheri to accept them. High Commander Zex Null raised his hand for silence. We accept your terms. He touched a crystalline tablet, transferring his authority codes. The Dominion surrenders to Earth. Emily activated the quantum beacon. Across thousands of worlds, former slave species watched their oppressors bow to human justice. The message was clear. The age of Zextheri supremacy was over. As they left the chamber, Richardson spoke quietly to his companions. Was this victory or vengeance? Emily thought of Jake again, of his dreams for humanity's future in space. Neither, she replied. This was evolution. They forced us to advance centuries in a week. Now we'll make sure that advancement benefits everyone they hurt. Above, the Ghost Fleet maintained its vigilant watch, a reminder to any future powers that might threaten Earth. Humanity might prefer peace, but when provoked, they were unmatched in the art of war.